Hello everybody, what is going on? My name is Terry. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys and gals have all been doing freaking fantastic, y'all. It makes me feel so happy and feels so good to say that intro again, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, if you haven't been keeping up on Instagram or Twitter, I've had some health issues going on. Nothing serious now, everything's totally fine, but it feels good to be back in this seat making video for you guys. If you want some more info about what's been going on, I'll make another whole length video about it. It's really not that interesting, but you know what is interesting though, y'all? This brand new Emeet Pixy 4K webcam that Emeet was kind enough to sign out to me a couple weeks or so ago. Finally got around to testing it out here about a week or so ago, and I have some thoughts. I do like it, but I also think they can improve on a couple things. So with that being said, let's kind of just jump right in here, shall we? All right, everybody, so this is what the Emeet Pixy 4K AI webcam actually looks like recording here at 4K inside of OBS Studio. Now, again, like I said in my little introduction there, I do have some thoughts and maybe some questions for the team, but let's just go over this here, okay? Now, the way I actually had that inside of OBS Studio was not using the camera directly in OBS Studio. They actually offer a virtual webcam output here, and I actually recommend that you use this so that way there you can keep the camera software open in the background, so that way there you can actually come over here and, use your controls to where you want to actually, move the camera at. You know what I mean? Again, really cool. I wish there was a way to sort of integrate that into my Stream Deck, but I mean, to have this open in the background, not really a big deal here if you ask me. And as y'all can see, it does have a built-in microphone. And a little example here, folks. This is what the microphone on the Pixy sounds like out of the box. No special sauce or anything, but there's also a noise canceling mode here. So I'm gonna go and click that right now. And in real time here, y'all, I was watching the meter inside of OBS Studio whenever I'm not talking. It actually is going all the way down to the bottom. So that does in fact mean there is some form of built-in noise cancellation inside the software here. So that was a very awesome inclusion here, Emeet. I think we can all appreciate that. And as you can probably guess, these different positions here, they give you 4 different spots where you can have custom-made presets for where you would like your camera to actually snap to. So this here is my initial position right here, but let's say I want to show you all, like maybe you're a trading card streamer or content creator and you want to show your opening packs and stuff, right? Well, all you got to do is just come over here to the little joystick, and now you can see my desk. I'm going to click on number 1, click on save, and just like that, hey everybody, what's going on? Today we're going to open some packs of cards, right? And then click on number 1. Bam, right there. And then you, of course, have 2 more open spots for any other kind of, position that you might want to do. Maybe you want to look at the wall for whatever reason. Well, now you can. Just click on save right there and you're good to go. But let's go back down here though, shall we? And as far as assistance, we have the autofocus. You could also lock that. You could also do, near and far focus if you want, manual control like that there as well. But I'm going to go ahead and go back to auto. And as far as autofocus mode goes, we have selectable areas, we have center point focus, then we also have face focus. So like for the area focus, you can actually click on where you want to focus at, which I think is a kind of a cool addition. Then of course, everything just right here in the center. And then of course, for the face autofocus, which is what I think a vast majority of people are going to be using for this kind of webcam, it's right there. Now, the privacy mode is actually really cool. What that does is that it does exactly what it sounds like. Whenever you close out of OBS or you close the software here, after about 10 seconds, the camera will turn off and actually put itself facing down, pointing the desk or pointing its little bracket there to where it's not even facing anyone in the room. So that's a really cool feature, folks. It really is. Now, as you might have seen here, gesture control, and that's exactly what it sounds like. So if you hold your hand up like this here, it should do it. Gonna make a full out of me now. There we go. So now we have the auto follow mode, right? Which is pretty cool. I wish there was a way to tell it to focus down more, because clearly I'm in the center of the frame, which is fine, but you have to move kind of slow. It's not as fast as some of the other ones on the market, but I think for a vast majority of people though, this is all you would need to get in the market for, again, a little pan tilt zoom camera. And this is my first one that I've ever owned, and personally I don't think I would ever find myself using this feature. But I mean, if you're a streamer or a content creator that likes to get up and move around the room a lot, I can definitely see how you would like this. So I'm going to go and sit down now, see if it follows me correctly. Is it going to follow me? Calm down a little bit more. No, no. Okay, well, maybe if I just do this here then. Okay, so now it's not in follow mode. I'm going to go back to my initial point of view. And there we go. That's pretty cool. And folks, I got some information here about the two cameras on this. Yes, this is a dual camera module here, okay? One is the actual video sensor, and then the other one is for AI tracking and depth detection. You know, mainly for like autofocus and stuff, right? So the main camera, it is a 12 megapixel 1/2.55 inch Sony sensor for 4K 30. And the way this works is that because of how small the sensor is, you really have to like do some math here to get the full frame equivalent here, okay? And from a chart I found here online, it looks like this is about the same sensor size as an iPhone XR. Remember those? And this here is about a crop factor of around 6.12. So after doing some math here, folks, because you have to account for the crop factor, you have to multiply the aperture by the crop factor. So f1.8 times, what was that here? 6.12 times 6.12. It is the full frame equivalent of an aperture ring set to around f11. So while there is some natural depth of blur behind you, well, this is embarrassing, y'all. It's not depth of blur. I know that. It's depth of field. Depth of field. This is what I get for making videos at 3 a.m. Oh, jeez. You're not going to get that wild depth of blur you would get from a bigger sensor. But I think for the, again, the vast majority of people though, whenever you get close to it like this here, you can see stuff does get a little bit blurry behind me. And frankly, I think it does a pretty good job. I really do. But there is one thing I did want to touch base on here because I really hope that maybe Emeet can patch this, and you might have just seen it there whenever I'm moving my hands a lot here on camera, right? Because of the automatic exposure adjustment here and everything, anytime you bring your hands into frame and it tries to compensate for your hands being overexposed like mine are here, it makes everything darker. You see that? And I understand why they would do that because it's trying to, you know, compensate for your face to expose for your face. And that's what you want, especially if you're doing videos like this here. That is for sure definitely what you want. But again, though, folks, I really, really wish there was a way to come in here, turn off the auto exposure, and actually set this up the way you want. Because I do believe here that if you could, you know, like, if you could adjust the ISO the way you actually should be able to, all that grain that you see in the darker parts, you might be able to get rid of some of that. Because as we all know here, folks, ISO doesn't introduce grain, it just kind of emphasizes the grain that's already there. And because these webcam sensors are so small, unless you have a ton of light going, there will be grain. Hold on, everybody, wait. I want to give this thing the best chance I actually can. So what I did was, I don't know why I didn't even think of this here. This exposure, automatic exposure lock thing, what that does is that I'm used to ISO and shutter speed. Like as a camera person, like that's what I'm used to. But as you can see though now, I have these settings dialed in and it's nice and smooth with these way better looking settings in my opinion here, okay? So what the EV is, think of that as your shutter speed, not your exposure value. This is the shutter speed. The reason why it was at a low frame rate like this here is because the shutter is very, very, very slow here. That's why it looks laggy, because it's a very, very slow shutter speed. But right around 5, like 5, 6, 7, I think like around -6 is where I think it's a good, you know, a good middle ground for that natural motion blur. Plus, I think it does actually look very good. Like this here, really good. So let's continue on with the video here, okay? Okay, actually, yeah, before we get into the actual video, like this footage here, just based off what you just saw a second ago, yeah. Emeet, I think you guys knocked it out of the park with this. Like this looks really, really, really good. And now with all that being said here, folks, now it comes to the part of the video
where I say if I recommend the camera or not, okay? And here's what you got to keep in mind, folks. Brand new, this camera is around $160, but it's normally always on sale. A matter of fact, right now I have it pulled up here, folks, is that this camera is on sale right now for $135. So the way I see it is this here, folks. Whenever cameras that can do the same sort of thing cost $200, $300, $400, $500 plus, like I know there's a couple of these cameras out there that, granted, they are a bigger sensor and there are a little bit more features, but some of these things can cost up to $1,000. Like, I think for the basics, for what it does, how the software is laid out, and I really do think with some firmware updates and everything, this camera can be something even greater than what it already is. I think Emeet has a real winner on their hands. So actually, you know what? I do recommend it. Because again, there's competitors out there that cost $300, $300, $500, $1,200 right here for one of the biggest ones. Like, that is actually insane for a webcam. Like $1,200 for a webcam, folks, like another grand, just save up and you can buy an actual mirrorless camera like my A7 IV right here. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, sure, I'm sure they have their place, but $1,200 for a webcam, when this thing right here for around $160 can do essentially the exact same thing. Truthfully, I don't know why you wouldn't go with this. So at the end of the day, folks, yes, this camera does get the Terry Does Tech seal of approval. But Emeet, if you happen to watch this video, please reach out to me, because I have some ideas for the software that I think could really make this thing great. Like, I have some ideas. Please send me an email. But with all that said, though, everybody, again, y'all, my name's Terry. Thanks a lot for coming by. Man, I miss saying that. And I'll catch you guys and gals in the next one.